Hello and welcome to Comics Solving Problems. I'm Stephen Allen.
And I'm Eric McElroy. Hello.
Hello indeed, yeah. So there's less title, basically. We've had a revamp, and we're still here. I mean, look, not that much has changed. We're still wearing suits because when we started doing these shows, it was an appropriate temperature to be wearing this level of clothing. Man, so by the end of today's show, I will be an absolute puddle on the floor. So in many ways, it is a bit like performing at the Edinburgh Festival, which is what this is. This is our free fringe. We're back on the festival. We're in Edinburgh. Woo!
Yay! Nice. I mean, this is what, if this counts as a fringe, this is our fourth or fifth show together.
Yeah,
can't remember now. It all blurs together. But yes, all of them were baking hot. I think the room we were in last year, Bar 50, because it was right. I was following my solo show, so I've been in there with packed crowds sometimes of up to 5 people, and it was hot and sweaty. And so yeah, we're feeling the fringe. We're feeling the spirit of the fringe. So welcome to the show, whether you've been with us before or if you're new. Thanks for coming along.
And so settle down. You've got some entertainment, some topical entertainment, some problems going to get solved. Get yourself a drink, and if you're watching this on whichever medium you're watching it, you can share it, tweet it, Facebook it, YouTube it. Actually, don't know you share on YouTube. But other than that, basically wherever you are, you can send us messages. And if you're enjoying it, click subscribe, and let's get stuck into some of this thing. If you don't know what we do, is we're two comedians who solve some problems, and by that I mean we try and solve problems, and by that I mean we aim for some jokes and miss. But you knew that already. I mean, if you're actually seeking solutions to your and the world's problems by speaking to two comedians who are oddly available right now, maybe that's your first problem.
Yeah, it is. And then the first problem we're going to tackle is one that we've had to address with the changing environment, because as you said, not only was it much cooler when we started the show temperature-wise, but we were in lockdown, in quarantine. And so we called the show Comics in Quarantine Solving Problems. But of course, we've started to come out of quarantine. And so one of the problems that we faced as a show was, what do we call ourselves now?
Because it's not even like, because we realized straight away it shouldn't have been called that. It should have been lockdown because we weren't in quarantine. But also now we're not under lockdown, are we? You can do so many things. You can sit at a bus stop fiddling with your own business, and only 2 people report you to the police, it turns out. You know, lockdown's an inappropriate title, quarantine's an inappropriate title. We're just comics solving problems now.
That's right. So one of the problems we faced was what to do as we come out of lockdown, out of quarantine. And so we've been tackling that. We kind of took a little bit of a break. Obviously, the last 2 weeks have been a look back on the first 15 weeks of the show. We've now come back with Series 2. We've called it given it a name, where we're going to solve problems. But this coming out of quarantine did create some problems. I mean, I think you can see, because really these last 2 weeks were the first time I really left the house for any significant amount of time. Here's a picture of me as I entered the world really for the first time.
Wow.
I was prepared. For things because it's been sunny here in the UK. We did go camping. So that's why I'm dressed like that. But do you like the hat, Steve?
I mean, it's an interesting look. I'll give you that much. Yeah. It's also a strange look on your face, as in like you've never seen a badger doing that before.
Well, that's true. As part of the reason is we were down towards the south coast, and so you can't see it here. But what I was looking at was actually what we've got here. I was having a quick look there as I was camping on Brighton Beach or Bournemouth Beach, and I was terrified. So A, I've not seen that many people for months and months and months, and B, I'm thinking it's a hot spot. That's going to be a hot spot.
Yeah.
It's not the kind of hot spot you want. Like normally thinking, oh, that'd be a nice place to go. You're thinking, no, this is going to be, and normally when you go to the beach, skimpily clad people, there'll be a little bit of virus spread. And hey, who's not looking forward to a little bit of that?
Hey, it would have been Edinburgh. We would have caught something.
Yeah, definitely. But, I was a little bit nervous going out. But, of course, the government is leading us, as they've led us through so many things, haven't they, Steve? And done a good job. And they've said, basically, the thing is, now that we're coming out of quarantine, the best way to go out is, of course, to Eat Out, which was launched this week. Eat Out to help out with more than 10.5 million meals claimed. It looks like Rishi, he's wearing a mask now, which is good, because when he was serving up the plan before, he didn't wear a mask. So he's done that. So I I didn't take advantage of this because I'm very much a skeptic about these things. Did you eat out to help out, Steve?
No, I mean, I don't think it's a good plan. I think
No?
50% off on weekdays is exactly what the businesses would have given us anyway. So we've just state-funded businesses.
Yeah. Well, that's basically what. Well, just jealous because I didn't get much state funding because comedy's screwed. Still no live gigs indoors. But I was thinking, all right, fine. We go eat out. What could possibly go wrong if we go to more restaurants? And then I thought, well, I'll look at my home country. I'll look at America because they're a little bit ahead of us as coming out of lockdown. Let's see how they're doing there. And I look towards Texas, a state that's been way ahead of us. Oh, bars close again and restaurants reduced to 50% capacity because coronavirus spreads. Oh, this is going to end well.
Ooh.
This is not good. But, I want to be positive about our freedoms. I want to be positive about coming out of lockdown. I want to get back to live gigging as much as I enjoy this. And, we'll keep doing this. But I want to do, and I thought, well, where's a positive story? And I saw how Italy's been handling getting out of lockdown during this period of time. A little bit of medieval wine windows reopening in Italy, which was apparently a plague tradition. So it worked for the bubonic plague. It'll work for COVID-19.
Yeah.
What do you think? Would you take a glass of wine just handed to you through a hole in the wall?
It feels like exactly what my parents told me not to do, but didn't specify this exact example. I mean, if suddenly a hand pokes out of a wall and there's a drink in it, it's drugged, isn't it? That's just a safe guess.
Yeah, I think that, the idea of keeping an eye on your drinks when they're coming out of holes. And it kind of reminds me of when we were gigging and we would stop at service stations and things coming through little holes in the walls.
Really? Yeah, those cubicles. I saw one of those things drilled into a cubicle toilet petition, and it was so low down. I actually remember taking a picture of it and tweeting it and being like, well, I guess, leprechauns exist and they really enjoy the memory services,
You are so anti-height or so anti-unheight.
No, it was so low down. There was no way you could have got your ding dong through it, and I tried.
Hey.
So,
and there's positivity coming out of America as well from the governor of South Dakota, and she sent out a memorandum to kind of boost people's spirits just this last week. An optimistic outlook on what we need, Steve, and that's what we need. And I read through it, and what my favorite part of that was the last line in there, Steve, which I think will resonate to our British audience. So let's all remember to put on our positive pants. Steve, are you wearing your positive pants?
I hope not, because I understand how virus tests work.
And I'm assuming that's American style of pants, of course, which she has no idea. I mean, something different in the UK.
All right.
Problem with that is she doesn't really say where to put them.
I see.
We need direction in America.
Yeah.
So that's the problem we've had is coming out of quarantine. I think we've nailed it.
Yeah, I think we're doing all right. I mean, look, if she is asking, are you wearing your positive trousers, as we would say over here, good God, no. It's been 36 degrees. There is nothing on the lower half going down here.
Plus, I mean, with the weight I've gained in lockdown, I don't fit into any of my trousers right now. If I had to start, there's a possibility I might have had an outdoor gig at the end of the month, and I was starting to debate whether or not I have to go buy new long trousers because I've got 2 pairs of shorts that have got, elastic waist.
Yeah.
But
the elastic waist is like the opposite of a boa constrictor in that it gives you space, and then when you occupy it, you can never go back. It lulls you into occupying the space in your trousers that you never thought you had. Don't do it. It's a risk. I have no idea what it's going to be like when I start gigging again. I might still just go, trouserless on the bottom half. I'm not afraid of getting a cheap laugh. And these days, that is what these pins would get. I'd be all right with that. And so, by the way, while we're solving the world's problems, which are presented to us through the news, we can also solve problems from the world that you send us. Any news stories you want us to tackle, send it in the comments, email us afterwards. Also, don't forget you can subscribe. We'll get you subscribing to the YouTube channel. It's all official and shiny. YouTube.com.
It's a new little thing there with our new logo. So well done.
/comic solving problems. When I press this, should disappear.
Hey!
And Steve's had some time on his hands when Eric's been away. If you've got any problems, message through. We'll try and fit those in the show as well. And if you enjoy the show at all, we'll give you details on how you can throw a tip in our direction to keep these lads afloat. But while we're dealing with problems that aren't necessarily quarantine related, look, masks are still causing problems. Not necessarily for everyone. I love a mask. Don't get me wrong. I enjoy wearing one. Earlier today, I went out for a drive in my mask. I know you don't have to wear a mask when you're driving on your own, but I like it because it means I can swear at the other drivers and they can't even read my lips. So, I'm really getting into the road rage. But some people are very upset about masks. Well, I suppose the people who don't wear masks are upset about masks. Yeah. The people who wear masks, I don't know if they're upset or not, because it's difficult to tell. You can't really judge someone's emotion when all you can see is their eyes. And that's why no other show is talking about the big issues. Yes, wearing a mask might save some lives, but not being able to read someone's face is really going to ruin playing poker. Yeah. It's going to impact the way that you enjoy it. You're going to end up with games like this. All right, I'm all in. You've got to tell. No, I haven't. High tech, eh?
That's nice.
Went out today trying to see if I could buy one of those visors. Couldn't, but I could buy a 2-litre bottle of water and make one yourself. So there's a tip. Good. We should do that as an instructional video for later. But yeah, masks are causing problems. There's a headline from the Metro: anti-mask mob mock shoppers. Now this is a bunch of protesters who went through a shop, basically shouting at people, saying, "Take that mask off." This is not just people saying, "I don't want to wear a mask." They're trying to stop other people wearing it, which makes me think they've really not understood the stakes here. Because if other people wear masks, it keeps you safe. So you should want other people to wear it and you not to. It's like when everyone talks about herd immunity and all you need is 95%, everyone thinks everyone else should be the 95%. But their point of view is that no, if you wear a mask, you are too compliant. If you wear a mask, you're a patsy for the state. If you wear a mask, basically you conform too much, like this guy. So when it comes to masks, apparently it makes you too much of a weakling. This group, they've called themselves, and this is one of the many things to hate about this group, they've called themselves Stand Up X. As if it's not bad enough that we don't get to gig, other people are nicking our hashtags. Darn it. I wanted to be able to call that. Also in the same story, look at this bit. Apparently they were walking through Morrison shouting resist. Oh, I know. Do not let me near that bakery aisle because, 5 slices of Rocky Road. Why, that's 1 each for me over the next 5 minutes. Thank you, Morrisons. So you got to try and push back. The protesters involved, they've been trying to stop other people wearing their masks. It's getting angry, and I don't understand why we have to have more anger involved. So I'm joined on the line now by one of the gang members. Hello.
Hello, Steve.
We've pixelated your face. Why did we do that?
That's because I wanted to protect my identity.
Well, surely people can see that when you're walking through a shop protesting.
Oh, yeah. Well, maybe the next time I do it, I'll wear a mask. The
kind of people we're dealing with. Thank you very much, protester, for joining me. So when it comes to masks, there is one news story which I think we need to tackle as well. Hopefully you're wearing yours. This one is the world's most expensive one. It's a face mask covered with 3,600 diamonds, cost $1.5 million. And do you know why they made it? Because sometimes people are shits. There is nothing quite like a time. It's going to be a global recession. People are losing their jobs today. Headline, working Debenhams. Guess again, you don't. And then someone goes, oh, I'm going to have to spend $1.5 million. I wouldn't be seen dead in anything less. And given this pandemic, I might be seen dead. So, no, you don't need to spend that much money, give that much money to help people out during this time and just wear a mask. In fact, you don't even need to wear a normal mask. You could just improvise it. We've improvised masks on this show many a time.
Yeah.
It turns out there is a genius when it comes to mask improvisation. Is this guy. The tech tycoon John McAfee claims he was arrested for wearing a lacy thong on his face instead of a mask. And I just want to say this guy's a genius. There has never been a quicker improvised reason for why there's a pair of lacy knickers on the back seat. That's my mask. Yeah. The things you do to get away with it. Do you know the name McAfee?
Yeah, of course. I never know. Cybersecurity expert. He made millions.
Yeah. Do you say McAfee or McAfee? I never knew which way it was.
Oh, maybe it's McAfee.
Yeah.
McAfee software. I don't know. Since I switched to Mac, I don't have to use that Windows-based software protection anymore. So I've just left those days behind.
Well, turns out, yeah, you're right. He's the person behind the virus stuff that a lot of us use. Now, I know I'm clever enough to realize there is a difference. He is an expert on computer viruses. Coronavirus is a human virus. And I know not to confuse the two. You should never group together technology and humans. I mean, what kind of an idiot would ever group them together in a bunch like person, woman, man, camera, TV? I don't know what kind of idiot would ever do that. But I think he might be onto something. Maybe knickers is the way forwards, because McAfee wore his thong over there.
Yeah.
Then Kaspersky, was a picture of him just with a G-string, just really cutting down there. And then Mr. Free AVG he went commando. But he did send you regular emails asking you to buy pants. So that's what you get with the free one, isn't it? So how do we solve the masks? Seems like you just pick up a pair of pants, stick them on your face, and stop moaning about it.
Yeah, exactly like the governor of South Dakota recommended. Just put on your positive pants.
Put on your positive pants around this area. Nice.
That's it. Listen, I have to say, when I was down camping, I did have to go into some local shops, and they were sort of the Morrison's quality that I don't normally go in. And
he's going to buy a $1.5 million mask in a minute.
Hey, keep those donations coming, guys, because doing pretty well off the back of this shit. This guy was clearly wearing underpants on his head, but they were they did cover the main areas. They weren't quite as see-through as the ones that McAfee was wearing, but they were the British flag over his mouth. But he had that look of someone who really wanted you to engage with him about the fact that he was wearing underpants on his face. And you know what? No one did.
Yeah.
It was really effective.
It's a conversation you don't want, isn't it? Why are you there's never going to be a good reason to be having pants on your face. Yeah.
I got the feeling that he probably would have been wearing those pants even with a global pandemic.
Good point. Right, keep the messages coming through. What have we got? We'll catch up with some of these. Good evening, says Richie. Seymour says, good evening, guys. It's nice. Oh, Richie then sends a message which has been retracted. Ouch. I don't know what it is.
Wow. Maybe you meant to send it to another Edford show, would try and recall an email.
Yeah, it just makes me want to know. It's the only one I care about out of everything in this message board down here. Was that you on the I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here audition photo? Asks Seymour. No, but they're not doing it. They're doing it somewhere in the UK, aren't they?
I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out. Maybe. Yeah. I know they're still doing America's Got Talent in the States to no audience, which comedian John Hastings got to. There's a clip on YouTube of watch, because John's great, and he plays the big arena empty to no one but Simon Cowell, Howie Mandel, and I don't know who the other judge is, and just the crew. And he's such a good improviser. He got the crew to laugh, and he won over the judges.
Wow, probably
Bastard. Brilliant though. Yeah, see, that's the way comics are. I was really impressed, and then also really annoyed.
Yeah, that's what it's like. That's what it's like in comedy. Someone does well. Oh, well done.
You bastard.
Keep the messages coming through. So wherever you're watching it, you should send some through. We've got some tweets to do at some point. And if you enjoy the show enough to chuck some money in our direction to keep us afloat, there's the link to, it should be below wherever you're watching it as well, but jokepit.com/fan page/ Oh, it's still got the IQ. It's CIQSP. We'll deal with that.
That link still works. We have not rebranded the payment link yet, just in case people had that historically, and which is nice because in Edinburgh we did free festival shows, which we're appearing on here, where we would have to do a bucket speech at the end of the show, whereas people left. We would say, "Would you mind chucking some money in there? If you think I'd buy these guys a drink, it'd be £5 for each of us because we both drink, and so on." But how wouldn't it be nice if during the actual Ed Fringe in the future we could just flash up a little buy us a drink during the show, like a big punchline, buy us a drink.
Well, the way things are going, the amount of technology I've had to learn during this lockdown and doing all this stuff, I think we can do it next year. Yeah,
we can. There we go.
Before we move on, a couple of more messages. Mark says maybe it was the brown streak on the underpants. Thank you for that kind of level of mental image. Oh, man, I used to do jokes on stage, and still do sometimes, about having, because they sell boxer shorts with the tube map printed on them. And I used to do a bit about, oh no, why are there two Bakerloo lines? And it just repulsed people so much that I had to drop it. And Richie says, sorry, Steve, I thought I was texting into Time 107.5. Those were the days. Do you remember when I used to be employable?
Yeah, I remember when you had jobs.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
good times, good times. But anyway, right. Well, one of the problems that we had was a problem of taking a break, and we missed some stories while we were gone, but we're catching up on them now. So this is one of the favorite ones. We want to have a look at it now, and it was also sent to us by a viewer, so we're on the same page, and it was one of the most beautiful headlines that I've seen, and of all the stories we missed over the last 2 weeks, this was the one I knew we had to cover, and that is Cheeky Boar leaves nudist grunting in laptop chase.
Wow. It's got
Amazing
everything.
story. Before we move on from that headline, though, I mean, somebody had fun writing that headline, didn't they? I mean, there's some thought put into that. Because how do you decide that the boar is being cheeky? Because, I mean, this is in Germany, where apparently the boars run wild and free. Like we have foxes in London, they have boars in Germany. I guess because they're on the continent and they have actual wildlife. And because you don't in the UK.
Well,
you know that, right?
Saw a cow in a field the other day, so...
No.
Sheep.
Nothing. A badger. I've lived for 20 years. I've never seen a badger. I don't think they exist.
Never seen a live one. Unless people are bringing in dead ones and just leaving them by the side of the road.
Yeah.
Could be.
The most wild thing around the year, my kids. Anyway, so this boar basically ran through a park where it was sort of clothing optional, and it grabbed somebody's bag, and somebody chased it. And I think part of the reason they had cheeky in the headline was because this was the picture that came with that headline.
Oh. Oh.
There's some cheeks right there. Cheeky
Wowzers.
boar. I don't think it's the boar that's cheeky. It's the man who's lost his laptop, which was apparently what was in the bag. So he's going full tilt to get it. And it's just beautiful. It's a little herd of boar there.
Yeah.
And, you can see the people in the background enjoying themselves because it's in Germany. To them, this is high comedy. They don't do stand-up. They just get the boars loose and put some meat on a laptop. I mean, if you're going to run after a laptop, we've got another image, I think, of this as well. There's another angle here, as it were.
Why have they blurred that one out?
Digitized.
Yeah.
I don't know. This one, I mean, he's going full tilt. I think what kind of laptop is worth running naked for, Steve? I mean, I used to have a Sony, and that was quite expensive back in the day. I mean, definitely if it was a MacBook Pro, you'd run after that. I mean, now I've got a Chromebook. I mean,
Keep it.
You can fucking have it. I'm not going to go for that. But this was the third.
They blur out his ass, but not the pigs. That's nice.
I know.
look
Hey,
at
careful
the
who you're
arsehole.
calling a pig in this story, okay? It's a boar to you. That's the preferred
I've just
term.
misgendered a swine.
Okay? Now here it looks like the boar's got his foot in a box, or else they've covered up his foot. I don't know, maybe he's got a tat. Doesn't want.
They're really not good at covering up the nudity, are they?
But look at that. He looks like a toddler. This belly, the man. I mean, this picture's so beautiful.
Yeah.
This is the problem with taking a break, is that we can't ever take breaks again. That's the problem we have to solve. There's no more breaks because we miss things like this. What I like is all the people around him looking on, doing nothing to help. All those people just watching this man run buck naked, which he was allowed to be because it was kind of a place where you were allowed to be clothing optional.
Well, this is the thing. I'm looking at that, though, and I'm realising it's not that popular to be naked around there because everyone else seems to have remembered clothes.
Well, would you want to have your bits hanging out with boars running around?
Yeah. I mean, do you know what I mean?
He's got a grip there on that laptop bag. And it was, watching that and looking at the man's image there, I thought, you know what, that does remind, the way he's running after that boar, just the way he's standing there, it reminded me of something from back in the late 80s, early 90s in the U.S. And I thought, I've seen this guy before. And I think we've got a picture of it right here.
There he is.
Look at
Nice.
that. That's him.
He's got a laptop in his hand.
Yeah. But the reason why he's got all that hair is because that was back in the 80s, and we didn't shave everything back then.
That's true. Those were the days.
Yeah,
Those were the days.
Yeah. You can have proper growth.
Let's not get into the details. And thank you to Philip who emailed us during the time off with that one, making sure we covered it. Because, you're right, we've got to deal with the big stories. And is it a problem? I guess it is. If you're a naked person with a laptop around you, what do? We know the rules with bears, that if it's a grizzly bear, you play dead. No, if it's a brown bear, you play dead. If it's a grizzly bear, you are dead. I can't remember which way it is.
Polar bear, I think you're dead. Yeah.
If it's a polar bear, strip naked. No, that's going to be cold. But if a wild boar nicks your laptop, it's a tricky one. That's why I think the solution to it is always take your desktop computer with you. It's a bit more carrying, but that boar's not going to nick it, is it? But you do have to be careful. Look, I want to be serious. We're making light of things, and that's what we do. We chat about stuff in the news, and we make light of it. But you do have to be careful because it's not just boars out there. If you're going to go and spend time in the woods, There are many things to watch out for, as we learned recently from the BBC.
And Greenwich Park is one of the oldest enclosed of the royal parks. And look at it. Fabulous. The sun is beating down. We've seen lots of doggers.
Excuse me?
How long were you stood there watching that? Surely it's too hot for dogging, isn't it? This is the wrong weather for you.
That is, yeah, social distancing rules apply.
It's one of the best things the BBC has ever done. In fact, do you know what? Should we watch it again, just for a little bit of enjoying it?
And Greenwich Park is one of the oldest enclosed of the royal parks. And look at it. Fabulous. The sun is beating down. We've seen lots of doggers.
Well, that's nice.
And it's 7:58 in the morning as well. I mean, normally you think about that as a late night thing.
Yeah.
But in the morning, that's commitment, or else you've just been at it for too long.
Exactly, that's the thing. I mean, you know what it's like. Dawn happens, the sun comes up, and you take a look at who you've pulled. Oh well, dogging is as dogging does. Let's have a look at some of the messages coming through. Yep. Azrael says, "Don't you check the chat?" Clearly not.
Not often enough.
That message popped up while I was reading the ones out from YouTube. So
I like that's sort of meta, isn't it? If you read chat that says, "Don't you read the chat?" I think it's a new level of interaction that we have there. Yes, we sometimes do. It's one of the problems that we have.
Yeah. Satoshi says, "If it's a hungry bear, you're dead." Good tip. Good pro tip.
Good tip.
Yeah, unless it's eating a laptop. I'm a Celeb is being moved to a ruined, haunted Welsh castle. Is it? Oh, I mean, apart from haunted's not real, but maybe you can tune in and watch the ghost of some of those people's careers.
Haunted Welsh castle sounds like some sort of euphemism or something. I don't know what.
Let's have a look. All right.
Anything else? I don't think I see any on this side over here.
We've got them all over the place these days, haven't we? So look, they must have been up early. Oh, Mark says that. I see what you mean. Do you mean the penises of the doggers?
Yep.
The penises of the boar, actually.
I think in Germany they call it boring.
Look out here, people have been boring, but they bloody have. No wonder they use a laptop. Ooh.
Oh dear.
And I like the way it's teaching youngsters how to steal. Yes, from naked people. Wait a minute. No, bad advice. Keep the messages coming through, and if you're enjoying the show at all and you'd like to put some money in our pockets, you can buy us a drink down there. Yep. The link is below the video.
Yes, thank you very much for that. Right, what are we on here, Steve?
Oh,
I think you've got a problem for us, don't you?
I've got a problem. My problem is obesity, and that actually is part of the problem. So, yeah, I'm admitting it. Well, look, here's the news that obese people may be told to stay at home if a second wave hits. And I think we can all admit we've all gained a little bit of COVID weight. It was going to happen. We were told to exercise once a day, but told to eat there's no restriction on how many times you can eat. Plus, you could eat as much as you want, but you are running low on toilet roll. Now, more going in, less coming out means weight gain. I'm not a scientist in that regard. I'm not a doctor. But look, did you gain some pounds, Eric?
No, yeah.
I gained some pounds. Everyone's a little bit bigger, including the guy that we saw earlier on today's show. Even this guy podged out a bit. Wider face and V for Viennetta, which is my favourite joke of the entire show. That's as far as I might as well quit right now. But look, I know I've got some problems with some weight. I checked out my BMI, body mass index, and it wasn't a great number. So I redid the calculation, got the same number. Unfortunate. Did it a third time. Same, so it was like best out of 3, and it was all 3. Then I did some Googling to see, is BMI really a good way to measure how fat you are? And loads of people online say it's not. It's a terrible system. Did you know that elite athletes like rugby players and weightlifters, their body mass index would categorize them as obese too? So, I mean, I don't play rugby and I really don't lift weights, not with my bad back. So really pretending that I'm in some sort of athletic category is really stretching the truth. I mean, if I had tried gymnastics, if I did a handstand, I'd motorboat myself. So I'm not really peak fitness right now. And it's not going to get better. As you said earlier, Eric, we're being told, eat out to help out. Well, 50% off food means, and they did some stats on this, lots of people are buying twice as much food. Of course you would.
Yeah.
It doesn't take much to talk me into having seconds, and if you can convince me that my gluttony is now patriotism, well, sweet mercy, pass me another bib. I'm full. but it's for Queen and country. Struth. My plate has to look at that every day. So look, they're trying to help us crack down on obesity, because they found out that obesity is linked to mortality with coronavirus. Now, if we were to strip out emotion and just look at the logic, that's actually a way to reduce obesity. But apparently they didn't want to just let us die. Very good of them. Very good of them. So they've come up with some solutions to it. One is to put warning labels. Fatty foods may get a skull and crossbone warning label in the obesity battle. Wow. I'm not sure I like that as an idea, because poisons have skulls and crossbones. If you put a skull and crossbone on a dessert, it makes the bleach look like it's a sauce that goes with it. So let's not get into that. But I agree with putting things like calories. Do you know they've got a plan on putting calories on restaurant menus? Loads of people say, "Oh no, you don't." Come on, the amount of information you get given about food is too much. You go to some restaurants, they give you the flipping CV of that meal, like, this is pan-seared scallops from a smaller village on the northwest part of France with hand-warted potatoes and gently hugged couscous. If you can go into that level of detail, put 3 numbers on. Let me know how much it's going to make me fatter, would you? They've also told us that they're going to help us get more exercise. There's a government scheme to give you, I think it was money to help you buy a bike, including electric bikes. How's that gonna? That's a bike that does some of the pushing for you. It's like joining a gym and then saying, "Oh, don't worry, we'll get one of those big lads to lift that for you. Don't put your back out." So I'm not sure any of this is going to work. There is the issues of like how fat we're getting, we're not moving. There is the worry. I think the perfect solution to it is already staring them in the face, and that is this. The idea is that obese people, if there's a second wave, might have to be forced to stay at home. Well, if we're forced to stay at home and the government for those 3 or 4 weeks cancels all food deliveries, you've just solved the problem. So we actually have solved the problem for once. Admittedly, look, there's a lot of talk about doctors telling you that you're fat, being, what's the phrase, frank. They reckon your doctor should be frank and tell you you're fat. Yep. Some people call this fat shaming, and I don't think it is fat shaming because it's confidential. You know, doctor-patient confidentiality means they'll only tell you. It won't be that as you leave their office, they'll shout through the reception, "Make way for fatso!" They're not allowed to do that. And also, you're the only one who gets told. So you can pass on any information to your friends and family. You don't have to tell them the truth. Like when they say, "How was it at the doctor's?" "Yeah, he said I've got the athleticism of a top rugby player with my weight." So don't worry about it. But also, you know, we all know if we're fat. Like Mark just messaged saying that his weight has stayed within 1 kilogram since March. Guess I'm lucky. Thanks for just rubbing it in our face. For those of us who have gained weight, we know. I know when I'm at my fattest. We've all experienced that thing where you bend down to tie a shoelace and you can feel your stomach push one of your lungs up into your neck. You know? They say you should do more to get out of breath. I do. I tie my shoelaces. So I'm not sure if we need to be told that we're fat, but I'm not looking forward to that time when the doctor tells you you've got to stay at home and you end up having a conversation like this.
Mr. Allen, I've reviewed your files, and I'm afraid you may have to stay indoors. Whoa. Are you saying I'm so fat I have to self-isolate through COVID? No, I mean if you keep eating at this rate, the only way you'll leave the house is using a crane through the window. I can see that. Yep, good call.
So here we go. Solve the obesity problem. Keep the messages coming through, even if it is pointing out that you've done better than the rest of us when it comes to keeping your weight the same.
That's nice. Did you miss filming videos talking to yourself while we were on break?
Yeah. I'd almost forgot how to do it. Although, when having to rework out how to do it, I've worked out how to put the camera in a better position. So
nice. Getting better. I had an experience with the doctor actually before we get to the comments. I think I might have told you this before, but this was before it was popular to have your doctor tell you were overweight. This is one of my first experiences with a British GP, and he sat there and he's got that little type, and he's typing in the thing. How tall are you? Yep. Okay. Let's see here, and your height. Okay, and your weight. Okay, and he went, "Ha! You're like many Americans. You're obese." Ha! And just kept on typing. Yeah, thanks. I can see why this is free. Thanks.
It's the Mr. Free AVG. That's the version you get. Seymour says, times. If being obese means you're unfit, show me a skinny sumo wrestler. Okay. There is logic in there.
I don't think those guys are really fit, though. I think they're like, what's the animal that they feed? Goose,
to get goose to get your.
I think it's like a goose. It's like making geese fight. I almost say gooses.
Fight. Beers have the fat warning logo on the can, says Simon.
Do they?
Really? Wowzers.
Yeah.
I mean,
I never look at the can long enough.
Who's got time? Whoosh.
Just drinking it.
A quick shout out to Daniel, who joins us and says hello, welcome.
Hello.
This is the Edinburgh version of what we do, and you can tell because we are sweating more than normal and losing more money.
So hot. Speaking of money, if you do enjoy what we're doing, just flash the link, Steve. You can think, I'd buy these guys a drink, partly because they're sweating their pants off, although I don't have any pants on. So, but they would be if they were on. Please feel free. You can chuck us a few quid, or it takes other currencies as well if you're watching from around the world. We've had people as far as Canada. It's a place that exists, apparently. Someplace in the Far East once, I think, Philippines or something that wasn't there.
Yeah. Have we sorted out Bitcoin yet? I'm very keen at some point to get a Bitcoin for, not a Bitcoin, but a slice of a Bitcoin for this show. We want to make sure.
Do you remember I sent you that link saying that if you didn't send me some Bitcoin, I was going to release your browsing history.
Yep. Yeah. So Obama sent me the same link, so didn't believe that either.
So there you go. So if you can buy strength, that's very much appreciated. Right. Is there any other? Should we crack on here with our next problem?
Yeah, we've got some more comments, but we'll do them after we've done the next problem.
All right. Well, of course, there is no bigger problem. I don't want to make this link to obesity again in the world, probably, than Donald Trump. But Trump is there. He's still president for now. He's been dealing with the big problem in the U.S. With the pandemic, and he's gone back to having daily press conferences because they were going so well when he recommended that we all drink bleach. They thought, that's something I'm going to do again. So he's back every day. And recently, I think was it just yesterday or the day before, he tried to put the pandemic, to make us feel better, to put the pandemic in a historical perspective. And here he is doing that.
In 1917, they say, right, the great pandemic certainly was a terrible thing where they lost anywhere from 50 to 100 million people. Probably ended the Second World War. All the soldiers were sick. That was a terrible situation.
Interesting there. I mean, to be fair, I would imagine that the soldiers who got sick in 1917, 18, he always says 1917, said 1918, he has for dozens of times. I would imagine they probably weren't up for fighting in World War II. So could have been. I don't think he's wrong. You can't fault him. I mean, he's giving us that historical understanding so that we know that COVID-19, which of course is called 19 because it came out in 2019 and is mostly affecting America in 2020, and that's basically going to end and undo the results of the election in 2016.
Good thoughts. Yeah.
So the time thing here is not important. At least we can hope. I think Trump is mostly worried, though, about the election. He's not trying to talk about the pandemic that much. He's mostly focused on what will happen if he loses. And this is what he's been told people today could happen if Biden wins the next election.
China will own the United States if this election is lost by Donald Trump. If I don't win the election, China will own the United States. You're going to have to learn to speak Chinese.
That's right. Yep, Americans are going to have to speak Chinese. And it's already started to happen. We can see this little American girl right here. Oh, just got, I mean, what could be less American than speaking a second language? My God. That's why I live in Britain, because you don't speak any other languages either. Now, you think, who is that kid? Who's allowing their kid or their grandkid to learn how to speak Chinese like that? You can see right here.
President Trump played this video of his 6-year-old granddaughter who is learning Mandarin from her Chinese nanny for the Chinese president.
President Trump's granddaughter. Now, I wonder, Steve, where did she get the idea that she should learn Chinese? And I think we know. We can see it here.
You're going to have to learn to speak Chinese.
Yep. He was taking them to the airport.
I think there is a chance that when she was told that you should study Mandarin, she just thought that meant pay more attention to her granddad's face.
Now, he is thinking, Trump, I think he is starting to think about what happens if he loses. And I think we got this little hint. This was a speech I was listening to because I actually listened to his speeches because I think I just like feeling pain. He just said this one line. I didn't see anybody else pick up on it. So this could be a Comic Solving Problems exclusive that Trump is starting to think about his exit strategy. Listen what he says in this clip.
Because I don't want to get all those negative votes, and then Biden wins, and they first month he'll say, I dropped drug prices 78%, and he won't even know what the hell he's saying. I don't want to be watching that from some beautiful resort someplace in the world.
Catch that last little bit there?
Yeah.
I don't want to be watching that from some... He's already thinking about getting out of the United States. And I don't blame him for that. Because there's a lot of prosecutions that are potentially of him that are on hold because he's the president. And as soon as he isn't the president anymore, those prosecutions are going to proceed. So we know that he might have some cases coming against him, prosecutors coming after him, and we know that he has a lot of properties around the world. So Trump needs to find two things, Steve. And I know you like science, so I made a Venn diagram. Here we go. We got two things we need to find right here, if we can bring it up.
Nice.
No extradition treaty with the USA,
did a Venn
and we
diagram.
need a Trump property. And I swear this is true. I looked it up, and we can find that middle spot, and we've got it right here. That is the Trump International Gulf Dubai. The United Arab Emirates does not have extradition with the U.S. I have a feeling that he's going to be heading down there.
Yeah, they're installing the gold toilet as we speak.
That's right. So, yes, there were so many things to cover, Steve, in the last couple of weeks of Trump. I mean, that was a problem, but he is a problem. And I think what we're going to be doing, we're going to be covering it every week now because we've got how many days till the election? I think I've got it here. We have got 89 days left until the U.S. election. There is a numeric way to say that, a non-numeric way. There is a non-numeric way to say how many days are left to the election, and that is not soon enough.
Good point. Well made. Yeah. Wowzers. It's interesting. So interesting. You covered a lot of Trump stuff, but you didn't deal with him being smuggled out of the room because a gun went off. That just looked like great PR to me. And you didn't deal with the fact that he wants to try and get his face on Mount Rushmore.
Well, it's difficult to choose. I mean, there's one thing about him complaining that people are going to learn Chinese when his own daughter has already been indoctrinated, like the Manchurian Candidate herself. I mean, it's just hard to cover. And the thing with getting shot at, the gun thing, you don't want to do anything that might engender people say, oh, you shouldn't joke about the president getting shot and stuff. But I mean, I don't know.
It did seem like there was a shooter outside, so they took him out of a room. It felt like they made him nearer the shooter. Because he was definitely inside that room. And, just saying, maybe not everyone in his staff likes him. And when it comes to the issue of him wanting his face on Mount Rushmore, maybe not. It's not the right time. I think we're actually taking down statues of people like you. So, good luck with that. And look, politically, is it right to put him there? I don't know. But in terms of geology, you'd be better off picking an area where the natural rock is a sandstone. Because you'd get the colouring would be right. So look, there are many. I'm sure we can deal with this more in future episodes. Some messages coming through. Dan says, "Is drinking bleach not safe? Should I stop?" You've got to mix it down with some sort of maybe a bit of milk in there. Just do like an acidic Russian or something like that. And then Stephen Leatherdale says, "Just in case Rich is correct, is the time tunnel year 1972?" Oh, I do remember when I used to have a job. I used to be a radio presenter.
Yeah. Good times.
That's it, really.
You still got the voice. You still got the radio voice. Yeah. Just nowhere to radio.
So this is what we're doing here instead, filling up your time. Keep the messages coming through. So I'm looking.
And we've got a drink that's come through as well. So thank you very much for somebody who's bought us a drink on Joke Pit. And Steve's going to flash up the banner there. So if you'd like to head there and get a little drinky poo for us, we appreciate it. And if you don't want to buy us a drink, just remember I got a puppy and it's hot out there.
Does seem like a threat. Does seem like a threat. Mark says, why would Trump go to Dubai? It's hot there. His tan would run. That's a good point. You'd have to wear a bib all the way around him, just in case. You keep the messages coming through wherever you're watching it, and don't forget to keep sharing the show. And yes, if you're enjoying it, the link's down the bottom. We'll take it off for a while as we move on to, I think,
our final story. Yeah,
final topic. So this is about congratulations to some people. I want to be positive, so it's a problem. But also, let's start on the positive note. Congratulations to the school kids of Scotland who got the grades that they wanted. And then commiserations to the same school kids who, so close. Darn it, if only you'd worked harder. But then another congratulations because they were given back to you. It's been a fun time for you, hasn't it? Tens of thousands of Scottish pupils have exam results reinstated after outcry. And if ever you wanted evidence that there is a problem in this country about the class system, it's what happened with that. So because no one can get near exam halls to do exams, they thought they'd get the teachers to assess what they thought the grades would be. And at some point, some people went, is this? Children from the poor schools are doing as well as the children from the middle class schools. No, this can't be right at all. No. Because this wouldn't be fair to all of those parents who have spent their hard inherited money sending their children to better schools. So we'd better make these poor people have worse grades. And it got to the stage where if you went to a school that tended to not have great results, and you were predicted to have good results, they were like, nah, not for you. No, not in this world. And the defence for it was, well, yeah, marking down the grades of the poorer kids might not be fair to the poor kids, but neither is the education system. So we kind of got it right. Wowzers. But it's been changed now. I know it almost doesn't matter. If you are someone who's recently got their GCSEs or higher or whatever the flipping results are coming out, there's one thing I can say to you, whether you got the result you wanted or the result you didn't. It really doesn't matter. I can barely remember what I got for the GCSEs now. You need them for like about 3 weeks, and then it's all going to be blurred over because of COVID anyway, so don't worry about it too much. If anything, I do think I wish I'd have seen this coming earlier, because I could have applied to resit my French GCSE, and then they just would have given me a nicer grade. I finally could have got a good result for that GCSE, but I missed out, and that's life. Or as they say in French, comme ci, comme ça. The ouais, les syndicats d'initiative. So
now you're just being fancy. I already said I don't speak other languages.
This is it's just stuff I remember from the third year. Où est la piscine? Le bonk. Come on, they said le bonk and we all laughed. It's one of the best French phrases there is. But when it comes to getting the kids back to school, lots of parents are very upset about this. But to put that in context, it's coming towards mid-August. So this is the time when parents would be shouting, when are the kids going back? Anyway, so it's difficult to know what's being caused by the coronavirus situation. To try and resolve this, we've got a headline from The Guardian. Boris Johnson would close pubs before schools. Now, that sounds more like a strategy for dealing with kicking out time. That you don't want to have both of them being tipped out onto the street at the same time. That's going to be a fight. But the idea is, and this was mentioned in an interview on the BBC by Professor Graham Medley, and he works for the London School of Hygiene and Tropical Medicine, which I've always said is, as a title of an institution, really steps up towards the end, doesn't it? The London School of Hygiene, that's wiping stuff down. That's just maybe washing your hands. And tropical medicine, whoa, parrot fever.
Yep.
So this professor said we may have to choose between pubs and schools. Now, we may all want kids to go back to school, but don't make us pick between pubs and anything. It's like you've never heard of the British people. I don't quite understand why we need to pick between the two. It sounds like there's not enough bouncers to do both. But maybe we need a solution that solves it, because we can't do without the pubs. Yes, schools would help the parents get through it, but so are the pubs. So my solution is maybe we will either start licensing schools, one solution, or you just teach lessons in pubs.
Interesting.
Only need one to stay open. I think there are many lessons to learn in your average pub. Maths, trying to understand the round system. English, I mean, there will be some interesting swear words being used, and some of those old blokes in those pubs would love to learn some of those new swear words. So I think it could make the world a better place. I think I've solved another problem. Are you looking forward to getting rid of, that sounds wrong, getting your kids back at school?
Well, the kids have been home since March, and as much as I enjoy a good pub, and as much as I wish the industry that I've done for more than 10, 15 years. I'd love it to come back to life. I don't care anymore. Close the pubs. Close it all down. Get them out of the house. I can't take it anymore.
Get them out.
Get them out.
Wow. You've had that much
killing
fun.
me.
Nearly
So
there.
yeah, there we go. Steve, I think we've had 6 problems, and I think we've demonstrated that comics can solve problems.
Yeah, solved them all.
Solved them all basically. But there are more problems in the world, so we will be back, won't we?
Yes. So these are the special Edinburgh shows, part of the Not in Edinburgh Fringe. We're doing these for the next 3 weeks, but we've been doing these shows before and after, so it's good to get yourself subscribed. We will be broadcasting youtube.com/comic solving problems, or pretty much wherever you're watching this right now. Click subscribe and send it around. We'll be back with you for that. If you've enjoyed the show in any way, you can
Please,
also
enjoy the show.
pop some money in our back pockets and then give us a little tap on the ass.
I gotta, because if the kids, did you say a tap in the ass? Okay, and
You should see what they get up to in that Greenwich Park.
it is hot in here. And also, if I do have to send the kids back to school, I gotta buy school uniforms, and they've both grown, which is fucking irritating.
Have you been feeding them again? It's your own fault.
It's just, yeah, I know, but that's what the government said to do.
You know, someone's saying like,
price.
"Oh, I've got to repot the plants again because they've been growing." Well, same thing.
I know. If I've eaten less, they've eaten more. Yeah, please feel free to, talk about the show. We'll be back. We're going to be back as part of the Free Fringe on Thursday at 9:00 in the UK. You can like it. You can share it. You can follow us. We got a new Twitter account. Follow us on Twitter.
We've got, but also we've put our in the redesign. We've put our Twitter handles on screen as well.
Yeah, I don't know. I never know which side to point on. I hope it's the other side. Shit.
Lead in with both,
perfect.
and then just let the other hand go away.
Crossover. But yes, I think that's we gotta go. We've run over. But thank you for joining us as part of the Free Festival. It's been fun to be here. We will see you on Thursday.
Yep, Thursday, 9:00. Till then, bye.